waiting on hubby and my daughter. This is my usual thing. I'm turning down the air so it's not so loud for you guys. This is my usual thing, to wait on them. Usually you think you're waiting on the women. No, 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 no. I'm usually waiting on him, and usually him and her. But I thought I'd come on here because I did mention in my What I Ate Today video about me not renewing my subscription to Weight Watchers right now. And I want to be clear about that. That is definitely ratty nails right now. It just doesn't make sense for me to pay for it when I'm really not going to be able to use it properly. I'm going to be recovering. I'm going to be going to physical therapy. I'm going to be running back and forth. Well, people are going to be running me back and forth because I won't be able to drive for a while. So for a while I'll be in the hospital. I don't know yet if I will go from the hospital to rehab for 2 weeks or not. My doctor said not. My mom's doctor figured I would. I don't know. I guess it probably depends on how well I do and how well my hip does. So we'll see. I definitely want to get the most use out of it. So if they recommend that, then that's the way I'd go. Because I want to get as much function out of the new hip as I can. So what I'm doing right now, because my doctor wanted me to lose 10 to 15 pounds before my surgery, which, guys, that's July 17th. It's not that long. And my track record hasn't been doing very well at losing lately. So I've decided to still do Weight Watchers right now, but to do it low carb. So it's almost like Atkins within Weight Watchers. I mean, it's very low carb. I'm staying around 20 net carbs. So it's pretty much phase 1 of Atkins is what it's like. I'm not perfect though. I think yesterday I was 22 net carbs, which for me is great. The crazy thing is I haven't needed any insulin, with the exception of when I was on the prednisone. Sorry guys, it cut me off. I had to delete some things. But what I started to say is when I started doing the low carb within Weight Watchers, I immediately stopped the insulin. I didn't need it anymore at all. I'm going to shut that off. Much quieter. So when the doctor put me on the prednisone, I absolutely needed the insulin. My sugars went from normal clear up to 187, 189, which is high for me. And with the eyes, I can't play with that game. So I had to go back on the insulin. I took the prednisone for 2 days. He wanted me on it for 5 days. But my back was feeling better. My sugar was climbing. The scale wasn't moving. Still isn't moving very much, to be quite honest. So I don't know when the prednisone would be fully out of my system, if it is fully out of my system. But either way, that's neither here nor there. I'm not taking the prednisone right now. I don't need it. There's no point in taking it. So now that I'm not on it anymore and I'm still doing the low carb within the Weight Watchers, I'm back to not needing any insulin. My numbers are in the normal range all the time because I'm just not getting the bad carbs. I'm eating carbs, don't get me wrong, but they're vegetables. You know, they're lettuce and tomatoes and things like that. So I'm still getting carbs. I'm not eating a ton of them. Certainly not enough to raise my sugar, which is really good with me being a diabetic. Now, back to why I am doing the low carb. The doctor wants me to lose a lot of weight really fast. And the last time I did Atkins and low carb, I lost a lot of weight fast. And I would not in any way, shape, or form recommend this to anybody. But I do need to lose the weight to reduce my risk of infection during the surgery. So this was the best way we could think of to get me there between now and July 17th. So once I have recovered, I will definitely be joining Weight Watchers again. and going back to a much more sensible way of eating. Now, I'm not saying anything against Atkins or anybody who does Atkins. You do you. You do you. And it is truly effective in weight loss. I will say that. I do lose a lot of weight on it. Initially, I think a lot of it's water weight, but that's okay with me as long as I get to where he wants me to be or as close as I can. But for me, I want to consume some carbs. You know, I want tortilla chips once in a while, or bread, or pasta, or things like that. And I know you eventually get there, but clearly I'm not a patient person, or I wouldn't be trying to lose weight in the first place because I would have already had it figured out, right? So, yeah, I think Weight Watchers is much more sensible for me long term. But in the next 2-3 weeks, I mean, that's literally what I have, about 3 weeks to lose 10 to 15 pounds. So this may be the fastest way to get there. So that's what I'm doing. So hopefully, and I'm saying so a lot, sorry guys. You know why I'm saying so a lot? Because this is an uncomfortable conversation for me to have. Because I would much rather be doing Weight Watchers. I really would. I really would. But I also need this hip. So I have to do what it takes right now to get there. So, yeah. And I noticed that I'm starting to lose some subscribers. Not a lot, but some. And I don't know if it's related to the going low carb, or if it's just a glitch with YouTube, or if people are just unsubscribing. I don't know. And I know there is a glitch with YouTube because I've been unsubscribed from channels that I have subscribed to that I did not unsubscribe from, that I had to resubscribe to if you followed any of what I just said. So I know there is a glitch too. So I don't know. I don't know. I hope I'm not losing you guys because I'm doing low carb within Weight Watchers. I do promise you it is temporary. Very temporary. And my journey does not end when I get my hip. You know, this has always, for me, been about getting to the hip. Let's get to the hip. Let's get to the hip. But it doesn't end there. I mean, I'm not at goal once I get a hip. That's like the first step. All right, guys. 3rd time's a charm. I don't know. I switched to a different phone. So hopefully I can at least finish this video and get it clipped together. So what I was saying is my journey doesn't end when I get the hip. That's actually where my life begins. This is going to be a whole new life for me. I have had a bad hip, literally from birth. I was diagnosed at 5, and I've been dealing with this hip my entire life. But I've found many ways to work around my limitations and my pain. So it could very well take me a little while to get to where I had to turn it back on. It's hot. Text message. So I had to, sorry, my brother. I've worked around it many, many times. It's what I do. I get in a car differently. Like, I get in the car backwards if I'm on the passenger side. I go in with my leg behind me, and then I twist and pivot around to get in, because I can't just step up and over on that side like I can my right side, because this is my left hip that's bad. So after I get this hip, if I do that, I'm going to dislocate my hip. So I cannot do that. So they're going to have to teach me how I can get in, because guys, I don't know. I don't sit properly. You know, when you sit down, you just sit. I don't do that. I sit. So I take the weight off the bad hip and put it more, so I'm kind of crooked sometimes when I'm sitting. I might look a little lopsided because of that. It's because I'm babying it. Now, I never realized I did any of this until I had physical therapy. And she pointed out, to me, this is just my life. This is what I do. But because I've been dealing with it for so long, clearly I'm going to have to learn how to do things the right way. Because I'm going to have a hip that will be able to do that once I get those muscles working again. And that's the other thing, you guys. These muscles haven't worked in a very long time the proper way. So to be able to ride a bike, to be able to sit, to be able to get in and out of things and cars, it's going to be a whole new world. But it's also going to be a whole new world with my daughter, with my husband, with my activity, with my health. It opens up so many new avenues for me. Like, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm scared. But quite honestly, guys, my journey doesn't end with a hip. It's like my life is just starting with it. And I don't know if any of you guys can understand that. I don't know if I'm explaining it the way I mean to. But life begins for me with that hip. All these limitations I've had will be wiped away in one surgery. The inability to work, wiped away in one surgery. As long as my eyes hold out, and so far they're doing great, and I plan to keep it that way if I have anything to do about it. The inability to get down on the floor and play with my daughter, all that changes. The inability to go for walks, which I used to do when I was younger and loved doing. Riding a bike, I used to love doing when I was a kid. My daughter wants to do that with me so bad. That's not been possible because my hip won't let my knee go that high. And with the new hip, I'll be able to do that. I'm going to have to learn how, but I'll be able to do that again. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see where I can go with this. And when we finally do get enough saved up for Disney, I'm actually going to be able to walk this. And I know it's going to be a lot of walking. And ordinarily, I'd be like, there is no way we're going to have to get a cart. But guys, I'm excited about that because I'll be able to do it without being in a lot of pain. Like, my life just begins on July 17th. It just begins again. And that's amazing and wonderful. And it still feels surreal. Like it's just a dream. Like I'm just dreaming that this would happen. But this is reality. It is going to happen. I am going to get that hip. And the best thing I can do for me is make sure I don't have an infection with that hip. So stay along, guys, because my journey is far from over. It is far from over. And I'm sorry if I've lost any of you. Please know, I'm not giving up Weight Watchers. It's temporary. I have a long way to go on my weight loss journey. And my new life is about to begin. And I could not be more excited. All right, guys. I just wanted to come on, give you an update, let you know a little bit where my headspace is and everything. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.